Okay. I'm going to share my screen. Here we go. Okay, everybody, welcome. Welcome to the Hope Braintrust. Good morning, good evening from wherever you're joining us from. Today, we have people here from Europe, Africa, North America, the Middle East, Indonesia, and we have a one-stone student coming from, they are calling in from the Amazon, which we really appreciate you joining us, Pine. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to join me and my team here. I want to share that this brain trust is for you. Please make it yours. Feel free to participate, join in, connect, and share. My hope for this Brain Trust monthly meetup is to create a container for inspiration, new ideas, and new connections. It's a collaborative group that's been sparked to help and inspire each other in a non-corporate, authentic, and hopeful zone. A few of you have asked if you can invite new members. If you know anybody who would be a collaborative and engaging fit, please send them my way. So it's November, almost December. A lot has happened since our last meetup. I wanted to share a little housekeeping for this growing group of awesome people. I wanted to welcome a few new people: David Clifford, Raheen Fatima, Netra Venkatesh, Stacy Piercy, Ameline O'Regan, Livy Redden, Megan Yarmy, and Hope Blesher. I actually have a collection of hopes that I'm pulling from around the world, which I'm loving. All remarkable humans working to innovate education in their own unique way. Please hop on over to our list of members, and Sky's gonna pop that list in the chat. You can click it, save it, look into it, and connect with new people. I'm really excited about today's meetup. I've been looking forward to it for weeks. When we decided to shine a spotlight on youth, thinking how are we going to involve them in conversations about the future of their learning, how are we going to invite them to the table of discussions, I had a huge rush of reach outs from around the world. Brave young students, activists, and voices got in touch with me to find out how they could not only participate, but also share some of the inspiring work they're doing in education and innovation for learning. I had conversation after conversation with brilliant young minds who are activating their visions. I look forward to finding ways to connect them with you. We have a few here today with us, and I look forward to us all hearing from them at some point today. So before we get started, as this is a takeover, I'm not going to be running the show today. I'm going to run through our agenda. At the beginning, I'm going to open up the floor for just a couple people. I wanted Netra and Raheen to share a bit about who they are. Then we're going to introduce One Stone. What is One Stone? Then the students of One Stone doing the takeover are going to introduce themselves and share how they're owning their own learning. And then we're going to assign the grown-ups to 3 breakout sessions. Sky's creating the rooms right now. And the students will lead us to explore the questions that they asked you to answer. We're going to be using Miro, so our trusty student leaders are going to give us all a little tip and some support on how to work with them on that. And then after about 30 minutes in the breakout room, we're going to return to the main session and share with the larger brain trust. And then at the end, we're going to come back, do a little Q&A. I know one of the students has to hop off early, but the Miro is going to act as an artifact that they're going to take back to their student team and figure out what they want to do next. So, who is ready? I would like to open up the floor to a few young people, and I wonder if Raheen, if you're here, if you could unmute yourself and share a little bit about you and what you are working on. Is Raheen here? Maybe she is not here. Okay, I'm going to pass over the mic to Netra.
Hi, everyone. First of all, it's absolutely lovely to virtually meet all of you. I'm hoping that this will flourish into something beautiful and we can all bounce off ideas off each other. So I'm Netra Venkatesh. I'm based in Dubai. And I think the prime thing that I'm doing towards leading education in an innovative direction is my organization, nonprofit called Spunk Go. We are a global student organization run by young women across the globe, 30 chapters, and we run life skill webinars. So when I say life skill, I'm talking about skills that aren't necessarily taught in schools and universities, for that matter of fact. Life skills like mental health, communication, how the sustainable development goals will be led by future youth leaders. Running these are young women who are entrepreneurs and professionals in their field. This is all for young women across the globe in underdeveloping regions to empower and broaden their horizons for them to truly unlock their full potential. Amazing.
Well, we are excited. Well, I will be passing around your information, Netra. It looks like Raheen is not joining us right now from Pakistan. So I wonder if Ameline, if you could just hop on and share a little bit more about your work around mental health.
Of course. Hi, so to chat to everybody. So my name's Ameline. I am from Ireland. So I'm realizing now just how far away I am from everybody else, but it's great to be joining you on Zoom. So a bit about myself. I've just started college to study university. I'm studying film and broadcasting. So I'm very much into the topic of mental health. I have a mental health podcast where I chat to not only like trained professionals, but just everyday people about their stories about mental health, because everyone has mental health and everyone has a story to share. So that's what I bring to my podcast. And that is why I want to, I suppose, continue my education in creative arts, because I feel like that's a really powerful way to reach people, not only through the education system, but through, you know, creative media, because that's where I really learn. I don't learn by sitting in a classroom. I learn by, you know, being creative and being active. So yeah, I suppose my mental health advocacy would mainly come through my podcast and through my writing. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to getting to know you all.
Great to hear more about you, Ameline. Thank you for chiming in from Ireland. I know that Serge Hunt just joined us. Serge, your camera's off, so before I hop on to the next, we're just doing a little introduction on some people who are working directly with youth to give some background. I'm wondering if Serge is there. No, he's not.
Oh, I'm here.
Oh, you are here. Serge, are you able to give us a couple minutes just sharing who you are, where you are, and what you're doing to support youth to join conversations or initiatives around learning?
Sure. Hey, I'm Serge. I'm only going to be here for about 10 minutes. I'm really sorry. I have
Perfect.
some calls, but wanted to drop in. I'm based out of London, building cities as a school. I used to work at Cubrio or Galileo. I see Kelly's here. Hi, Kelly. Basically, yeah, Cities as a School is a marketplace for live in-person and online classes led by inspiring teachers, backed by AI to build real-world skills. So we're turning cities into learning ecosystems, and we're letting the teens sort of lead the way. I record a podcast with outlier teens, if you will, who are taking non-traditional paths and sort of explore how they succeeded either getting their degrees in like 1 year or graduating high school in 1 year, or just like getting internships and doing stuff outside of the school walls. So they're leading the way, and we just give them tools to do that.
Thanks, Serge. I'm going to share your podcast. It's amazing, everyone, students, educators, change makers, super inspiring to just hear directly from these students. Thanks, Serge, for hopping on. We appreciate it. I'm going to give a bit of space at the end for more people to share. We'd love to hear from you, Stacy, and a few other people. We're going to get started with our takeover because, as I mentioned, one of our students needs to hop off. So I'd like to welcome you to One Stone. And Mac, could I pass over the mic to you to do an introduction on what is One Stone?
Yeah, of course. So, hi, my name's Mac. I am currently a student at Lab 51 One Stone, and I'm planning to graduate this upcoming year, which is very exciting. But One Stone's mission is to create and make students better leaders and the world a better place. It's a student-led nonprofit with the goal of transforming the high school experience. Lab 51 students spend the majority of their high school years actively engaged within the community. We're an independent school that is inclusive of all students. We focus on growth and not grades. And I think that is one of the biggest things, is that we focus on the actual growth of the student and who they personally are, rather than a grade number and being assigned to a scale of you're doing good or bad, where everyone's experience is so ranging. And so One Stone meets students where they are, leveraging their diverse backgrounds and experiences to help them find meaningful ways to connect their learning to their passions. And finally, One Stone just empowers student voice to create an equitable, inclusive, and student-driven culture. And our students are trailblazers who shape their learning and the world around them. So yeah, that's kind of a little summary of One Stone.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. I'm also going to be including the link to One Stone's awesome website for everyone to check out after. Thank you. I would like to hand over to our facilitators, which includes Mac, Gabby, Pine, and Jesse is their incredible mentor, who many of you already know, to share who they are. So each of you could just go around in a circle, share who you are and how you own your own learning before we get into the main session. Who wants to start? Mac, do you want to go?
Yeah, I can just go first. So, like I said, my name is Mac. Something you should know about me is I am really passionate and I really love connecting others through the love of passion. I am I go to One Stone. I just signed with C of I to play golf for them, which is College of Idaho. And something you should know about how I own my learning is I really dive into the passion and curiosity I have for things. And I think I use it as a motivator to step out of my comfort zone. And I think it has really led me to fulfill a more authentic life. So yeah.
Amazing. Thank you. Who wants to go next?
I can go. Hi, I'm Gabby. My pronouns are she, can't speak. She, her. I also go to One Stone Lab 51. I am intending to graduate this year. And something you need to know about me in owning my own learning is I want very deeply to be passion driven. I need to be passion driven. So I need to find something that works and that makes me want to do something and believe in something for motivation. And I have developed skills to find that in even the most mediocre situations.
Thank you. Pine, are you with us still?
I can go next.
Great.
I'm Pine. I am also a student at Lab 51, planning to graduate this year. And I guess one thing you need to know about me is I am driven by helping others. I'm driven by, I guess, helping others find the things that make them passionate.
I can see your facilitator already in our brief interactions. Thanks, Pine. And that is it. We have our mentor, Jesse Ross, and he's going to be helping in the background. We're going to move over to go time, which is we are going to have a breakout session. We have about 30 minutes. I say about, if anyone needs to leave at any point, no problem. We're thrilled that you could make it today. Sky is going to add us to 3 breakout rooms shortly. First, I wanted Gabby to share a little bit about One Stone's approach to everyone having a seat at the table concept. Can you just give that before we hand it over to Sky?
Yes, I can. One thing about One Stone that I really love is the community, and part of that is being able to be heard and be seen however you are. So I hope my intention is to bring this that kind of community and that kind of intentionality here, that we all can have a seat at the table and we can all feel like equals and you know, share our ideas. There are no bad ideas, there are no bad questions. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Sky, do you want to let us know if the breakout rooms are ready?
Yep, and I'm
They
also
are
just,
ready.
yeah, I'm just gonna pop the Miro board link to in the chat here for people.
Excellent. So our stellar One Stone facilitators are going to be giving us a little rundown on how to use Miro board. Check the chat right now and just make sure that that Miro board pops up for you. So when you go to the breakout room, go into the Miro board, and that's where you're going to be working.
And Hope, just so that we don't experience FOMO, is it possible we can just do a brief overview of what's happening in the 3 different rooms?
Great, great. Who wants to take that on? Pine or Mac, do you want to talk about each of the breakout rooms?
Okay, so basically in the 3 breakout rooms, the first one of obstacles, it's kind of like all of these breakout rooms are a place where it's open discussion, open questions on these different topics. So obstacles is kind of like finding themes on like what problems do you face in education and recognizing like different people's experiences. And then ideas is like a place of ideation and implementation, which Gabby's leading. And Gabby's going to take you through just the question of like, what are ideas for involving youth in education and innovation? And that's a place of like where you're going to be able to ideate with each other and communicate with each other. And Gabby has like some questions to help push along the experience. And then I am finally doing the last breakout room, which is for questions and to kind of just create a place where we can ask each other questions about our experiences and our opinions and about education. Like, let's set the table for curiosity with the question breakout room. So yeah.
Thanks, Mac. And all 3 breakout rooms, the focus will be in each of those rooms is all around youth involvement and youth-led learning. And if you've got questions, pop them in the chat, please, or feel free to just ask now. Kelly, you don't have access? Nobody's getting access to the Miro board? Does anybody? Anybody?
Could people hear me to say yes?
Yes.
You can hear.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm on my phone and I couldn't get on my laptop. I think I joined another meeting before. I hope you weren't there. I don't know what I clicked on, but there were other educators and I couldn't get my microphone to work. So I just left that meeting and then went on my phone and then joined here. And now everyone can hear me. I don't understand.
Well, welcome. It's great to see you. And Pine just added a Miro board and she's put it in the chat, try this link. So if everybody can try this link in the chat, we're going to get there.
Oh, great.
Miriam said it works for me.
Good.
Works great.
I can't see anything.
Unfortunately, I don't think you're going to be able to add on your phone, Sharon.
And I can't get on my laptop. My mic doesn't work. I don't know why.
So you know what, we'll record it and I will share it with you, or you can hop on in like 20 minutes or
I'll
half
try
an
again.
hour.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
There is a Miro app. If you download that, you should be able to access it, but it's up to you.
All right,
Okay.
I'll try. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm
Great.
seeing that everybody is, and we've got Paul right now, Gray, Rekka, everybody, Joe. Is everybody in the Miro board now? Thumbs up? We're good to go? Great.
I'm going to open all the breakout rooms so you guys will be automatically sent into one of the 3.
And we'll be back in 30 minutes. If anyone needs to leave, great. I'm going to record this and we'll see you back in 30 minutes. Enjoy, have fun. Over to you, Sky.
All right.
Okay, let's make sure Pine goes into the right one. Yep.
I think everything should be good. I have Pine and Jesse together, Max leading one and Gabby in the other.
Okay, so which one? I will go into the one with Pine and you go into number 2.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if Tim and we have Tim and do you still see Tim and Jad here? Oh,
Yeah, Jad is there. Tim, I'm not sure. He might be having issues.
oh, and I'm just gonna admit.
People are getting kicked out right, left, and center.
I know.
I'm going to join. Hi, Tim. Are you having difficulty? Tim?
I just
Sky?
yes, I'm
Yeah.
still here. I just assigned the I don't remember their name, Talk About It podcast. I don't see,
Ameline.
yeah, I don't see Tim.
He's on this call. He doesn't seem to be assigned.
Okay. I see him in breakout room 3. Oh no, who's Joe Sweetland? Oh, shoot.
She was here.
Okay.
So maybe you stay out and just keep assigning people if that could work for you.
Perfect. Yeah.
I'll
do that.
join number 3 and we're done in 30 minutes.
Yep.
Okay, great. I'm gonna go.
Sounds good.
Joe's not joined for some reason. So weird. Oh, there she is. Okay, I'm going in.
Okay, sounds good. Hope see you in a bit.
Hello, welcome back. That was so fantastic. Was that 30 minutes, Guy? Who felt like that was the fastest 30 minutes ever? Put your hand up. what we're going to do now is we are going to do a bit of sharing. Before Mac, are you still with us? Great. Before Mac leaves, it would be fantastic for each of the breakout rooms, before we dive into just general Q&A, I know everyone wants to ask questions to the One Stone students. If we could go through the various breakout rooms, starting with Max, and share some of the lessons and themes and discussions, that would be fantastic. Over to you, Mac.
Yeah, so I was leading and facilitating the questions breakout room, and we kind of started with just setting like, hey, like, let's introduce each other, let's get to know each other. And I think that really helped place like a nice foundation to begin our discussion, because we got to hear people's experiences, what they do, what they like, why are they here. It was really nice for a little intro like that. And so we started with kind of just natural, like, I wanted to hear some natural questions that were arising and like questions we had for each other. And so like kind of most of them were just kind of based around like youth and education, and how, like, one question was like, how did you know like you needed, like, how did you know you needed a different education? Like within the public education, what led you to reaching for an alternative to that? And so kind of that dove us down, and like the students within my group too, Raheen and Livy, thank you so much for also popping in and giving your experience. I loved it. And we got to talk about that, and specifically we kind of went down a rabbit hole of talking about specifically wellness for students, and how it's kind of sometimes taboo of like talking about it. I mean, I knew when I was in public school, it was something that wasn't talked about, and it was kind of embarrassing to talk about your specifically mental wellness. And so some specific things that participants said in my breakout room was like, students have such ranging experiences that shape how they work within education. And that's such a huge thing, is like why we need to be vulnerable and why we need to share our experiences, is to then be able to create a personalized education and personalized path for students. And so we also kind of said, like, never settle for less when it comes to your education. Like you might be like, everyone's just kind of like, oh yeah, that's high school for you. Like that's what being a teen is. And Livy was talking about how reading a lot of things of like being like, that's what it's like to be a high school student. That's what it's like to, but you don't have to settle for that, and to know that you are able to strive for more, and you're able to reach out and go towards something that makes you motivate, makes you passionate. And it doesn't have to be so gray and so blue, when it can really be so bright and incredible. So yeah.
Amazing. Thank you, Mac. That was fantastic. Anyone in Mac's group that wanted to just share any learnings or beautiful insights before we move?
She did a great job of summing it up, actually. Yeah. Outstanding. Yeah.
Amazing. Great.
What's your handicap?
Sorry?
I don't want to talk about it.
I wanted to know what her handicap was in golf.
Another
time.
Another time. I'll get back to you on that.
Awesome. How about you, Gabby? Do you want to lead?
Yes. So we in our group did sticky note throwdowns, which is a technique for ideating. So we went with the question, what are your ideas for involving youth in education innovation? And went through a couple of different prompts, just talking about it, getting all of our ideas out. I haven't been able to look super deeply in all of them, but like just from our conversation, there were some themes of mentorship and normalizing the conversation of education with students. as well as like making sure it's accessible was something I saw. And then there was a little insight Stephanie brought up. There was a misspelling, or it might have been intentional, on education, spelled edge, like EDG, occasion. And she said it reminded her of like education on the edge, which is a really just interesting thing, like saying and thing to think about. Yeah.
Very cool. Thank you for sharing. Anybody, Stephanie, anyone from the group with Gabby that wanted to share a little bit about their experience or insights from that group? Sounds like it was fantastic.
And I wasn't in that group, but I just, for the group to know that in leading up to this session and talking to the One Stone students, we definitely discussed the fact that this was a first step. And so Gabby, obviously you're talking about, you're going to be able to dig into some of those responses and look at them and distill some of the themes. And we're excited as a team to kind of take next steps. What do we do with all this information? So it won't just end here in this session today. So excited to see where it goes next.
Thanks, Jess.
I could add on to that as well. Like I was feeling the same thing, that there's a lot to go back and really dig into. And one of the things that Mac, that you said, that idea of what triggers us to seek a different education for ourselves or for our child, that's actually the topic of something, an online conversation that I'm hosting next week. So it's really present right now. I feel like this time of year, people are starting to feel that exhaustion. And anyway, so yeah, thank you. It was a really great session, Gabby.
Yeah, Gabby did a great job leading the group, and what I really appreciated, one of the many things I really appreciated, was how you waited for a sufficient amount of time, because some people like put up their sticky notes right away, and then other people were thinking about it, and so you got 100% participation by patiently waiting for everyone, and we had enough time to kind of think about it. And then as we went from like board to board, like from sticky note to the next one to the next one, I think people kind of got faster and kind of more and more understanding how it worked. So it was a really cool process to learn about.
Thanks, Jesse. Anyone else before I pass us over to Pine for number 3? Go ahead, Pine.
Okay, well, so I was the facilitating group looking at just themes and really problems that we found in education where those themes pop up. And so we started and just did a little bit of a Miro tutorial and a sticky note throwdown. As Gabby mentioned, that's just a ideating tactic we use. And so we were writing down, we started off with a silent storm, which is an independent sticky note throwdown. And we just wrote what problems we had seen in education and then opened up to a discussion talking about what we had written down. And that discussion did kind of end up going down rabbit holes, as it does. And the main themes we found that we were talking about, which all kind of relate to each other in some shape way, is learning isn't done in just one place or done in just one way. That there is a lot of fear, both from students moving into different forms of education, parents and educators, trying to grow a learning mindset in not just your students, but in everyone. There needs to be a learning mindset in every part of the education process, not just in students. And that's with, again, parents, educators, people working like government who are overseeing education and things. And that leads nicely into agency in both giving students a voice and giving students agency, but also remembering the restraints that a lot of educators have currently, and how those restraints can make it difficult to give those students agency. So helping get agency on both ends, and just the idea of there needs to be passion behind everything you do. People learn better when you are excited about what you're saying, they're excited about what you're saying, and you're actually living that truth instead of just following a curriculum. Does anyone from the group want to pop in and just mention some of the other things we talked about?
I was really,
Go ahead.
yeah,
Go ahead,
I was really moved by Gay's point about learners never really being taught how to, Gay, maybe you can jump in, how to
your language was perfect. How to use the mind, how to understand your. Can you rephrase again, Gay, for that?
I call it the operating system, which is not a great description, but it does help understand that this is our minds are systems, and our system of thinking and feeling.
Yes.
The conditioning that we experience as children and into adulthood is very powerful, and without giving students the tools to understand that system and see how it works. And also, if I could add, to depersonalize that system to a very large degree and understand, like, this is universal. Everyone's unique with all our life histories, but the brain and the mind work in very consistent and universal patterns. And it's just baffling to me that we continue to miss that mark when it comes to helping students and teachers share that understanding and live. I love that idea too, living that understanding in not so much a separate curriculum, but in their way of being, right, in the world of relationships with students and their curriculum. Blah blah blah.
No, I just have to jump in because it's so great that at Onestone, the head of our lab school, Celeste Bolin, she's a background, she's a neuroscientist, and she each year leads the brain, which is a student-led experience using the teenage brain to understand the teenage brain, meaning students are coming up with, well, I am very curious about why I behave this way, and I'm going to create a project and explore that. And, and also, or I know somebody in my family who has experienced this particular condition or a background, and they'll go and use that natural passion and curiosity as a way of understanding the brain. She did give a TED talk on this last year. And so pretty exciting stuff.
That's great. I'll get that from you and share it with everybody. Thank you. And anyone else from our group? Just giving time and space for people to share.
South by Southwest, not TED Talk. Wrong one.
Got it. I wanted to say how amazing it is to be in the presence of students living in their passion, being supported by mentors who really are in the background to a large degree, and seeing Gabby, seeing Mac, seeing Pine and the other students that are behind the scenes rise to this and be really excited to share and emanate this with all of us. It's really fantastic to see and experience and hear. I wanted to open up the floor to all of us and see if there are any questions. They don't have to be to do with the breakout room, but Matt, you'd asked, like, we're gonna have time to ask the Onestone students questions. Here's your time. I'm gonna pass it over, and we'll just ask that you put up hands, and then we can move through. We welcome questions here.
Were you starting with me, Hope?
Yeah, that would be great. Cool. And then we'll move to Livy.
Yeah. So someone was in the Amazon. Like, you can't just introduce that without some description about how and why the heck you're there. And
I think she's not here anymore.
No,
they're not. They are here. They are here.
Yeah.
Pine's here. Yeah.
So no, I'm here.
Just start talking.
Well, I'm on a trip with my grandparents right now, going on a trip through the Amazon River. Right now we're stopped at a place in Brazil. And so that's what I've been doing since the 17th of November, and what I'll be doing till we're doing this for a whole month. So
that's amazing.
So that's not school related. That's on your own kind of deal.
It's on my own kind of deal, but I did have the opportunity to have made my own learning opportunity that I'm doing here. So I'm still doing school from here. And that was something that I was able to completely design on my own.
Yeah, I would say that is very much as something from Onestone, that is absolutely school related, or it's learning related, and therefore it's under the umbrella. It's wherever you want to seek out learning, and then we're here to support it.
Great. Over to you, Livy.
Yeah, a question. I mean, exactly what Hope said. Seeing, young adults being so passionate about this is just like making my heart so happy right now. And you're all of you are just so well spoken and confident, and you just radiate this beautiful light. All the One Stone students that have spoken, and like this, the light and the passion that I'm seeing in each of you is exactly what I'm trying to deliver to young people through what I do, through my book, through my podcast, that sort of stuff. And my question to you would be, the biggest block I see is so many young people feel unheard and unseen by their parents, by their school, by their education system, just in so many aspects. And my question to the One Stone students would be, what are the specific things being a part of what you're a part of have made you most feel seen, heard, being able to, I mean, this could be like very specific type practices that One Stone does, or just an overall feeling of empowerment. I know that's kind of a vague question, but I hope that made sense.
I think it did. I immediately thought of how, so basically my schedule is super like personalized. Like I pick the type of math I'm in, the language arts I'm in, but more specifically, I get to pick an experience I'm in, which is kind of what we call our courses or curriculums. But like the experience I'm in right now is it's kind of like weightlifting. Like I get to learn about weightlifting, and I get to learn about the connection of like physical and mental wellness and how they connect. And so that's what I'm doing right now. But I have been a part of so many incredible experiences that were like, one of them was called Play On, and I got to learn how to perform music. And then I went to a retirement home and played music for them, and it was such an incredible experience. But how that connects with being seen is, I think, being able to personalize these things and have such a personal connection to something, and especially having that personal connection with the coach who's leading it, just really impacts like my connection with the school, and like how I can go into this experience and have a completely different personal pathway than another person. Like someone might be focusing on like how to get really big and strong, and I might be focusing on like, how do I balance a physical and mental like well-being, like of health during an experience. And so I think what makes it personal is that the coaches and the community like gives you an opportunity to personalize like almost everything that you do. And like, I think it's just really impactful. And that for me is what makes it makes it feel really personal.
Adding on to that, I think it's like all the things together. I think it is those specific moments where you can really say, this is what I want from my learning. And then something where I really feel empowered and seen is One Stone. We have a lot of elevated presentations. So we have Disruption Day, which is a day where like we present these huge projects we've been doing throughout the term or the year, it depends. And like parents come, and people from the community that we've worked with in the projects come, and it's really elevated and big, and it's a lot of work, but it's rewarding, and it helps me realize like that I can do that. And like I am seen as an individual, but also I can be seen by this huge group of people in this huge community, and that like what I'm doing matters. And we've done just a ton of those like elevated presentations. It doesn't have to be like for those projects. I did one for a thing we had called Hatch that was all about entrepreneurship and like pitching your ideas, but it's just those ways to like really practice and make it feel bigger and important.
Amazing. I
Yeah,
love that.
that thing of just being seen as a individual and walking into an environment and immediately being uplifted by those around you is something that changes the way you look at everything.
I want to put these things on a banner. Anyone else? I'm just like capturing these things as like walking into a room and being seen and like feeling safe. Oh my goodness. Thank you. So great. Stephanie, over to you.
Hi, everyone. So I work as an alternative education consultant and mentor, meaning that when people are struggling with school stuff, I can help them and their parents figure out what it looks like to find solutions to that might not be within the school system. And the mentoring that I do is a lot of this helping teens to feel seen and everything that we've talked about. So the question that I have is, unfortunately, there's no one stone where I live. And there's no one stone where so many people live. And I see this as being a challenge over and over again. I can sort of see the light out of the well-being struggle that they're in and see that it's okay to leave school. And I can help them in one-on-one sessions to heal and all of that. But at the time when they're ready to start connecting with peers again, it's a huge challenge to find ways to make that happen. There's a number of homeschool groups, but if they have a day and it's debating history and math, and the teen isn't interested in debating history or math, they don't want to go to that. So, and more and more and more, I'm finding that the teens are saying, I don't want to do anything online. Not an option for me. I'm only interested in person. So my question to you is, what thoughts do you guys have around ways of creating those opportunities for that peer connection when there isn't a center of any kind locally? Other than using like a 3D printer and, photocopying one stone.
I don't know how much access there are to like other peers and stuff, but like I think there are a lot of ways to, I don't know, create focus groups, even if it's like meet up at a park. And I don't know if that's what you're getting at. But I think those passion-based groups where it's like a student's like, I'm really into music, and I want to meet with these peers and do this. Finding ways to connect on social media and then be able to meet up safely, I think is a great idea. I don't know if that answered your question though, but.
That's great, Gabby.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, go ahead, Pine. I was going to chime in just because I have some personal experience, but you go first.
Oh, no, feel free to chime in. You go.
Stephanie, I unschooled 3 boys to adulthood. And so I had to create those communities and spaces that are just like One Stone. I had to create those. And so you do it through cooperatives, but I think what parents often do, because I've often coached a lot of parents who've decided to leave the school system and try to find that community themselves, is that they put their kids in a course, or, they say, okay, well, we're going to do that. But learning in another environment is very different from belonging. And that's a very key aspect of youth, is belonging. They need to belong. And if you can't create where they feel like there's like somebody else in that tight group, which is like Mara's starting to be a digital nomad, this is a huge challenge for world schooling families, is because their kids never get that opportunity unless they can follow other groups around and belong to those groups. So what I've done is created environments of belonging for them and made sure that the experiences that they have are not always just learning experiences, but free choice experiences and play experiences, holiday experiences, even all those kind of things. But it does take work from a parental standpoint. You have to work quite hard because you can't force them to be friends with this group of kids you've just stuck them with, right? Like and there's always going to be that dynamic, but to try to mimic exactly what what Mac had said and what Gabby was saying, where you walk into a room and you feel instantly uplifted by those around you. That is, I think that that's a challenge for humanity. And it's like, how do we do that overall? And the fact that Jesse has been able to create this at One Stone in this environment, because like, I think that it's like that perfect job that you had, you know, where everybody got together and everybody on the team really meshed, and then you moved jobs and then you didn't have it again. You couldn't mourn the loss of the cohesiveness of that team. That to have that experience just once in life, to have had it at the high school, junior high and high school level, I think is a unique, is a wonderful thing. I think that what One Stone is providing for them is unique, but it is possible. It just takes a little bit of work. So those are my thoughts on that.
I think I was basically going to say exactly what you were saying, of that kind of community and that kind of environment can be created anywhere. You just have to have a mindset shift. And creating that mindset shift on a larger scale can be really difficult, and finding that group to do that can be difficult. But if you find a group of people who are really passionate about something, even if it's not the same thing, who just have some sort of passion, and you set the example of being all in and throwing away that cool card and letting yourself learn from everything around you, everyone follows suit. And when they do that, that's when that community is formed. When people fully give into their own passion, it's contagious. So you don't necessarily need that like initial connection of this person likes the same thing as I do, as even though that does make forming connections easier. You just need someone who's willing to form a connection with someone else.
These are amazing reflections, which I really appreciate, because my answer to the question, you know, because I'm like, my son who I unschooled is now like off at university, so I'm not in the parental role of this anymore, but in my mentor role, I'm now pulling together a group of the teens I know and looking to expand it to other teens to create this group and see what happens from there. And the words that you've put around it are really helping me to find the words to describe it and the mindset that can help this to take off and flourish. So thank you very much for all of your reflections. I appreciate it.
I want to add that, you know, One Stone's origin story, I think is tied very much to this, all this was a group of students who got together after school and started talking about problems that they saw in the community that they wanted to have an impact on, and kind of asking like, well, how do we do something about this, right? And then having, you know, parents in the community say, well, I know somebody you could talk to, maybe, you know, you can go connect with them and understand the issue a little bit better. And it was just an after school, what eventually became called, you know, kind of Project Good and experiential service experience, but it was just students getting together and noticing and saying, we actually can do something, we don't need to wait, and having people around them saying, yes, absolutely, we want to, you know, support your efforts. And that is what, you know, turned into pretty soon a couple hundred students from around the region getting together and saying like, well, we care about this and I'm passionate about this, and they were forming different groups, and they're starting to, oh, we need to be able to have a broader reach. So we need to create a advertising studio and a media agency, which is now Two Birds, right? We need to do this. Oh, we have a business idea. So we're going to have Hatch, and we're going to create small businesses that are around us. And that is what eventually led to what One Stone is now, but really just starting with a small group who were saying, we want to do something in our community.
Quick last
question. I think you
better...
really got the heart of, sorry.
Go ahead, Pine.
I was just going to say, you really got at the heart of that with the idea of, you put a ton of people together who then, like, big idea said, oh, this, and like making it so someone doesn't have to feel like they have to wait, giving someone the idea that they can make an impact no matter how small, and that they can do something now. They don't have to wait for someone to tell them they can.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Over to you, Matt. You look like you're taking some notes. I hope you're taking some notes for us.
Yeah, I was. I've got only 40 questions, so I'll start with one. No, so I'm looking for, I don't know, some sort of ambassador to describe what you guys have gone through. I mean, it's a lot of the conversations that I'm a part of in education is trying to tear the old system down, or at least identify and point out the incredible flaws with that system. But that's not the way to go forward. The way to go forward is to increase the awareness that there's something that's 10 times better. And that awareness is extraordinarily hard to export because it's highly local. As I mentioned in one of my points earlier, that it also requires private dollars to support, right? So this idea couldn't happen down the street from my house unless private capital came in and supported that. And so, I'm wondering, how do you young people export, if you feel motivated to do so, export your experience, or at least inspire others to take the leap? Any thoughts about that?
I mean, I think that kind of ties into what I was just saying with Jesse, of even if you don't have, like, most of the things that we're doing, we don't have like a huge budget to do it or something like that. Like, a lot of the student projects are students just going out and doing it. And you don't necessarily need like a ton of materials and a ton of people telling you this is how you do this and this is how you do this. If you have the just personal inspiration to do it, if you have the vitality to do that, there is so much someone can accomplish if you make them believe, if you let them at their core believe that they can do it.
I'm gonna jump in real quick, Matt, as a former charter school founder, district educator, and so forth, and appreciate the challenges. And so I agree, Gabby or Pine, that yes, the passion doesn't require a lot of money. It requires time and space, and creating that space. And as a former school head, I had to create that space. I had to take that risk, change the timetable, and say, this is what we're doing. We're doing, if it's experiences, if it's council time, if it's project-based learning time, if it's a disrupted week. It was a risk that I took, and that our school leaders need to feel empowered to take, and know that the results will heed lifelong dreams and experiences that students will go back to. But too often the churn keeps going, and there's all these mandates, as someone mentioned, the challenges that people have. There's all these mandates, and you have to, at some point in those leadership roles, be confident to take that risk and stop it, because the public schools can do it. I've seen it, I've worked it, I've done it. And it's making it, getting to people to make it happen. And then once they get a taste of it, they're like, when do we do it next time? So, and then the other part to it is training. In order for it to be successful, you do need some training. And that's where the challenge could come in, finding that time.
Just, you mentioned this idea of, getting a taste of it. I just want to make sure we offer up here, that One Stone students, and I believe Matt's daughter, are also inspiring and willing to come and talk to anybody in this space who says, oh, I want to introduce, what this can look like and sound like to another group. If it's helpful, we are available. You can, my contacts and the information there, but Jesse at One Stone, and our students, we have a group of student ambassadors who that's what they want to do is share their stories and connect. So hopefully we can do more of that.
Yeah, going off of that, I think a lot of it is also empowering students. It's kind of what Pine was saying about getting the one person to be able to do something and showing other people that they can, to get that group to really work and mesh and, do things. I know when I first came into One Stone, half of my motivation in the beginning was, everyone's doing cool things and I need to do cool things too. And well, that's not the healthiest thing. It grew into this oh, but I can also do these incredible things for me. And so I think being around a group of people where the level is set at just doing these incredible, cool things and feeling empowered to, can really be helpful. And I think that goes back to what Jesse was saying about like having people come and talk and, you know, all of that.
Wow. I'm gonna say that passion is contagious, right? Is anyone feeling it like all over themselves, this passion that's coming across from you, Gabby and Pine, and Mac had to go, but it's contagious. And I feel like this inspired action is really paying attention, as Livy said, to seeing and hearing the youth and the children that we spend time with. It doesn't need to be complicated in Pine's words, just listening. And I know Phil, who hasn't said anything, but I know that Phil's little feeling in, as Buckminster Fuller used to do, feeling into the vibe, the situation, slowing down, all of us here to do the simple things, and then, you know, building from there. So building from here, as passion is contagious, this is just the beginning. I think we can't open this portal of working with young people and then close it back up again. So what I'm going to do with my team and Jesse and the amazing Pine and Gabby and Mac and all the other One Stone students is we will look at the awesome Miro artifact and talk about what can be some next steps. I invite you to get in touch with Jesse. I'm going to pass around, as I do, a follow-up email. And please reach out to me if you have ideas or new questions. You know me, I'm open. I just really appreciate all of you being open to this kind of conversation with our future. So, Pine and Gabby, can we just take you off mute? Just give you a big round of applause, everybody. You guys are amazing. We appreciate you. Thank you for doing this so quickly. Did you want to leave us with any thoughts or anything before we hop off and get on to the days?
I mean, feel free to reach out to Jesse and he can put you in contact with us. I'd love to talk with you guys more and work with you again. This has been incredible. Like you said, it's contagious.
It's contagious. Yeah.
I'm feeling the passion too. I'm so excited for everything going on and excited for what comes next and being a part of it. Thank you all so much.
Amazing. Enjoy your days, everyone. Thank you for joining. And I will be in touch. Please reach out to me. And thank you, Jesse. Okay, take care.